Thank you. Our commitment to racial justice at NOFA Mass, we're working to deepen our commitment to racial and equity justice, including honest work, examining whiteness and dismantling systems of white supremacy. They are part of many dominant systems, including our food systems. The foundation of modern organic agriculture is rooted in the long-standing cultural practices of BIPOC communities. We acknowledge that US was built on stolen land and that the food system was built on the stolen labor of Black, Indigenous, Latine, Asians, and other people of color. Please take a moment to find your location on this map and honor those whose land you occupy now. And you can go to the interactive map. You can let us know in the chat where you at. Racial equity in action. For all BIPOC participants, we're gonna have a BIPOC caucus on today at from 1 to 2. This is a space of people of color to come together to celebrate and talk about sustaining our communities, healing for racial trauma, and working to organize collectively for systematic change. We're also gonna have for Spanish speaker, the Spanish lounge, Sala en Español. Today for 5:30 to 6:30, come and meet all the Spanish participants and speakers. For white allies and co-conspirators, we are here are some ways to center racial equity in your work and support BIPOC communities. Share resources, including land, money, and tools with BIPOC organizations such as the Urban Farming Institute, Gardening in the Community, the African Alliance, the Native American Rights Fund, Indigenous Peoples Network, and Pocassi Poquenoque Land Trust. Support legislation that will begin the talk and advance the work towards reparation, protect the rights of farm and food workers. Session etiquette, you can do all these things for us. Everybody's muted upon entry. If you need to speak, please just unmute yourself. If you're done speaking, please mute yourself back so we don't have background noise. The host might do this for you if I hear you make your background noise. Feel free to use the chat feature to comment at any point during the workshop, and we will keep the questions for the end. And please note this session is being recorded. Oh, many thank yous to our gold sponsors. We would not be able to have our conference without them. Please check them out in our program book. And our silver sponsors also, we give them tons of thank yous. They help us also to have this conference today. And also we have an online auction. It's just about to finish. So if you still want to bid in something, it's super exciting. Go to rallyup.com/winter auction, or you can text NOFA to 855-202-2100 and you will be able to bid. And please visit our virtual vendor listing online for special discount codes and offers. We will put in the chat a link for that. And I think I'm gonna pass it now to our Executive Director, Jocelyn Langer, to talk about our annual report.
Hey everybody, we will be printing this annual report officially in a few weeks, but in the meantime, we thought we would give you, as our members, a sneak preview of some of our successes from 2021. Go ahead, Jason. So one of our major achievements over the past year has been our focus on increasing our racial equity work throughout the organization. In 2021, we continued to expand our commitment to racial equity and justice in the food system, both internally with trainings for our staff and board, and externally as we continue to collaborate with BIPOC-led organizations across the state. Our internal work included board and staff participating in a 21-day racial equity challenge last spring. And then this fall, we've been all participating in a 15-week Dismantling Racism series facilitated by our very own education director, Ulum. And we've been collaborating with many groups, including Home City Housing, La Finca Búho, Sprout Change, All Farmers, and many others. In order to create better accessibility to our conferences and workshops, we've offered $6,776 worth of scholarships over the past year. And we also implemented a sliding scale payment system for membership and conference registration. Next. We ended the year with just under 1,000 members, 178 of them new members. And one of our big goals for next year is to focus on new member outreach. You can all help us with that, bringing your friends into the NOFA community. For communications, of course, we want to be back in person with all of you, but one advantage of being in a more virtual world is that we have had a big increase in our online audience, including an impressive 78% increase in our email subscribers. And in our education department, we offered 125 workshops. A number of them were translated into Spanish. And if you missed any of our workshops, conference workshops, ed events, etc., you can find them on our YouTube channel. You're going to hear more about our policy department in just a minute, but some of you may remember from last year when we announced our annual meeting, we started 2021 with a big policy victory with the passage of the Healthy Soils Bill. It's been a very successful year for the policy department. In addition, we were able to exceed our goal. We set a goal of raising $20,000 for the Massachusetts Pollinator Network, which is a new initiative, and we actually exceeded that goal. I think we're even above the number on this screen at this point in time. Keeps going up. We analyzed 76 soil tests. Our bulk order had a record 408 customers, which was a 150% increase over 2020. Our food access program has expanded so much over the past year that we've actually just hired 2 new staff members for the program to assist in Springfield, while Sister Anna works to expand and collaborate across the state. Lastly, I'll just take a quick look at where our money comes from and where it goes in our next slide. Not surprisingly, our biggest expense at NOFA Mass continues to be our educational programming and grower services. We're a pretty education-heavy organization. About a third of our revenue does come from those programs, and they're supplemented by a lot of very generous donations from all of you, as well as your memberships and state and federal grants, small grants, and it all adds up. So thank you for all your support this year. We're going to go on to the next slide. And I'm going to turn things over to Laura Davis, our board president.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the annual meeting and the keynote. We're glad you're here. For all of our board members, if you have your video turned off, maybe you could just click it back on for a moment while we work on electing our board officers and directors. While we have a great professional staff at NOFA Mass, we also have a great support group of board members who chair many of our committees. And at this time during the annual meeting, we like to re-elect them for another year. And this is the slate of officers that we would like for our membership to vote on. And so because we're virtual here, we are going to have you members open your chat button, which is to the left of your green share screen button. It's a little bubble there. The chat, if you click on the chat, I'm going to ask for a approval of our board members. So all of those in favor of electing this slate of board members, please type in yes into the chat. If you have objections, please enter them there as well. And any abstainers, you can also type that in. We greatly appreciate your support, and we are always looking for additional board members or people that just want to participate in our committee work. So our committee work would be finance, personnel, education, development, equity and inclusion, soil health. We have lots of committees that members can get involved with as well. So if any of you are interested in additional volunteer work with NOFA and getting involved, we welcome you, and you can get in touch with me, Laura Davis at nofamass.org. Thank you for voting, everybody.
Oops.
Thanks, Laura. All right, looks like we have an approved board for the year. Thanks, everybody. We'd like to just take 2 minutes to quickly get a little input. We wish we could be chatting with you all in person, but just to get a little feel for the group, we've got a few quick questions for you. Our first question, we'd like you to put your answers in the chat. Since we're talking a lot about resiliency this year, particularly climate resiliency, we'd like a quick reflection. What has worked for you in the past year in your farm or garden in terms of resiliency strategies? If you could summarize in like 5 words or less, we'd love to just see what's working for you. No right or wrong answers, just any strategies that have worked, something you've tried that you'd recommend. Just drop it in the chat. We've got mulching with leaves. Oh, thanks, Christy. Christy posted our question. Oh, patience. That's a good one. Leaving the leaves. Great, composting. Nice. Okay. Keep them coming. We've got another link for you. Whenever you're done with that, I'm going to put that in the chat in just a minute. We're wondering if you would also just take 1 minute to drop some feedback for us in a Google poll. I'll put that out in just a minute. And the Google poll has 2 quick questions. We'd like you to check some boxes. What are the top 3 things you're most excited about in our work? Christy put together maybe a dozen things that we're doing. That doesn't mean that's all that we're doing, but we tried to summarize. And then an open response question. What is a topic you'd like to learn more about from NOFA Mass in the coming year as we plan our conferences, educational programs, etc. So I'm going to drop that poll into the chat. If you have a minute now to fill it out, that's great. If you want to just click on it and fill it out later, that's fine too. We value your feedback.
Jocelyn, can you wait a second? Xiomara got kicked out.
Oh, okay. We're going to wait a minute for our interpreter here, and that gives everybody a minute to keep entering things in the chat, and I'll post the Google poll again.
Hold on.
Are we all set? Yeah. All right. So we can go to the next slide. I would encourage everybody to scroll up through the chat. I'm learning a lot about what our members are up to by reading the chat. Very cool. All right. Feel free to keep posting in the chat. I'm going to turn things over now to our policy department, including our policy director, Marty Dagoberto, and our new Pollinator Network coordinator, Dr. Rosemary Malphie.
All right. Hi, friends. I will do my best to slow things down, but those who know me know that I'm a fast talker. My name is Marty Dagoberto Lidgate Driggs, and I'm so grateful to be able to address you today and honored to represent this beautiful movement every day in my capacity as policy director for NOFA Mass. For legislators and policymakers who are yet unfamiliar with NOFA Mass, I describe us as a statewide network of gardeners, farmers, growers, landscapers, foodies, and food activists who work together to increase the cultivation and availability of nutrient-dense food and healthy living landscapes, for the health of our communities and the planet. It's my job to convey to those in power the vibrant and diverse momentum of this culture that together we have cultivated for over 40 years now. It is our vision for a healthy, equitable society rooted in living soil and our pursuit of balance with the web of life, which gives us our lasting strength. It's our educational events like this conference which provide the venue for us to enlighten our minds and inspire each other to make change in our gardens, our economy, and our government. Thank you to our members and to the tens of thousands we're connected to who help demonstrate to policymakers the sustained power of this community. It takes a targeted application of our people power to counter the momentum of business as usual. Let us reflect in gratitude upon this sample of achievements we've made together with our coalition partners and legislative champions over the past year, and the momentum with which we enter into this year. In January of 21, Governor Baker signed a bill creating the Healthy Soils Program. And last month, they approved an historic COVID-19 relief spending package, which will invest $100 million in environmental infrastructure, including healthy soils in that definition, recognizing the crucial role that farmers and the lands they steward play in mitigating threats from climate change. In March of last year, we successfully pressured regulators to protect pollinators by ending the retail sale of neonicotinoids by July of this year. The state budget passed last July included two significant provisions which we pushed for, including $100,000 for the Healthy Soils Program and the creation of a commission required to conduct a scientific review of the potential impacts of glyphosate, a process similar to that which is now ending consumer use of neonics. We're fortunate to have many legislative allies on the Agriculture and Environment Committee who have helped to educate, who you have helped to educate over the years of the importance of reducing pesticides use. Their hearing last month received passionate testimony from many of you, highlighting priority measures including the protection of school children from pesticides, the creation of an ecological mosquito disease management program, the protection of raptors from rat poisons, and the reorientation of our pesticide regulatory structure toward environmental protection. We will count on you to apply the appropriate grassroots pressure at the right times to advance these measures, so stay tuned. And finally, perhaps one of my favorite updates from this past year, I'm grateful to be joined by our new member of the NOFA Mass Policy Department, Dr. Rosemary Malphie, coordinator of the Massachusetts Pollinator Network, who will now share a bit about the incredible work that she and the network have been up to. Rosemary?
Thank you, Marty, for that nice introduction. And hello, all NOFA members. It's very much an honor to be with you and to be speaking with you today. My name is Rosemary Malphie. This past year, I joined NOFA Mass as a member of the policy department and as the coordinator of the Massachusetts Pollinator Network, which is a new NOFA Mass initiative to unite and support the many community groups and organizations that are working to protect pollinator populations across the state. It has been very exciting to help launch this program and to watch the network materialize and grow over these last months. I've had the privilege of meeting and working with people and groups from the Berkshires all the way to the North and South Shores who have been actively engaged, some for years, others newly, in expanding habitat, advocating for reduced pesticide use, and educating others to do the same. And I know a number of those folks are on this call, so hi. This past year, we formed a steering committee comprised of community leaders and land care professionals from across the state. And together we organized an open access seminar series with subject matter experts. We established a monthly meeting for network participants to exchange knowledge and ideas. We piloted a nursery outreach program intended to increase the inventory and visibility of native pollinator plants. And we advocated for pollinator-friendly policies at the local, state, and federal level. This includes federal bills like the Saving America's Pollinators Act and multiple state-level pesticide reform bills, including one I'd like to highlight, which is H926, an act relative to improving pesticide protections for Massachusetts school children. The school children's bill would limit the use of toxic pesticides on school property, allowing only products deemed minimum risk by the EPA or approved for organic lawn care. Our outreach work, done in collaboration with Mothers Out Front and Climate Action Now, ensured that there was a strong showing of supporters for this bill at a recent public hearing before the Joint Committee on the Environment, Natural Resources, and Agriculture. In the coming year, we plan to continue our advocacy work and education efforts by launching a new website with resources for pollinator protection, expanding our nursery outreach campaign, engaging new partners to advance the mission of expanding pollinator habitat, and convening focus groups to share best practices for helping pollinators in different contexts. We will also continue our collaboration with the organization Community Action Works to support the organizers in our community pesticide reduction network who are working on the ground to adopt ecologically responsible land care policies and practices at the town and municipal level. One of the most exciting parts of my job this year has been bringing people together who share common goals, but who had not crossed paths before, and also taking stock of the incredible collective knowledge of our participants. At NOFA Mass, we are very excited to be providing a central forum where folks from across the Commonwealth can empower each other to take meaningful action to protect pollinators, insects, and biodiversity broadly. And if you are someone who has not plugged in yet but would like to, please visit masspollinatornetwork.org and learn more, and also sign up for a monthly newsletter. And you can always contact me at rosemary@nofamass.org. Thank you.
Thanks, Rosemary.